Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It is Tuesday, April 11th, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. And that's very easy to do that when you are asking such great questions of us. If you are thinking about something that is remotely associated with a dollar, all you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click on the Contact Us button. And my cohort here is Mark Talercia. We are both certified financial planners. So, Mark, how do you think the new service, Jill on Money Live, we just had our first ever quarterly webinar about, almost 2 weeks ago. How you feeling about it 2 weeks later?
Smashing success. I wasn't worried going into it. I knew it was going to go well. We were a little concerned about the platform. It was, it's kind of clunky, but it worked. It turned out well. You were great. Ed was great. Anything with Ed is great.
Yes. And so we had an amazing night with Ed Slott, who is the Roth IRA expert. He's a CPA. He's got such a great way about him. People loved him. So, Mark, if people actually subscribe to Jill on Money Live today, they'll get access to quarterly live webinars, and then they'll also be able to be behind the paywall and see that Ed Slott, right?
Correct. If they are a member, they will have access to everything behind the paywall, and then that includes the first webinar.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you want to subscribe to our brand new service, it's called Jill on Money Live, where you will have access to quarterly live webinars. And we are actually going to be doing some more special content. And that content is going to include some extra sessions with me and Mark. It's like a therapy session. You can come on camera with us or not. Mark and I are going to turn our videos on. We're like exposing ourselves. But if you all want to remain anonymous in the Jill on Money Live community, you are more than welcome to do that. We're not forcing you to come out. We would never do such a thing, right, Mark?
Never, ever.
Never, ever. Okay. So today, Mark, we are joined by Art, who's on the line from Southern California. Hi, Art. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Jill and Mark. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Great. What's going on? How can we help you out?
So I wrote to you guys because we're doing a good job saving, but my spouse, my wife, she has a 403B that does not have a company match. I want to know if that's still something that we should consider using in our situation. I can go over all the retirement monies that we have. And
sure. Art, also, I hear a little someone in the background, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, that's my son. My wife's kind of got him in the other room. So
How old is he?
He's going to be 2 in a month.
Just one child so far?
Yes.
Okay. Art, how old are you?
I am 46.
How old is she?
She is 37.
Trick question, right? You're like,
I had to think.
I'm not sure about that. How much do you guys earn right now?
So I earn just under 150, and she earns about 102.
Okay. I'll call it 100 to be safe.
Okay.
And so right now, what is she contributing to the 403B that does not have a match?
So right now, she's not contributing anything to the 403B. She has another retirement vehicle, and I think it's a 401A, although I'm not quite clear. It's an after-tax contribution that she makes. They take it and they have a portion of that go to a defined benefit section, and then the other is a defined compensation. And so she does 6% to that. So
she will have a pension once she puts a number of years in. How many years in does she need to put in?
She just started. She's maybe 5 years into this job. So I'll need to get back to you on that.
All right. No worries. That's fine. So, okay. She just started. Is she a teacher or a nurse or what is she?
Yeah, she works she's in the medical field, social worker.
Do you know how much money she has saved in various so it sounds like this is a new job, but what about other retirement accounts?
The only other retirement account she has is a Roth IRA, and she currently has $65,000.
Now let's move on to you.
Okay.
So do you have a 401k or a 403b? What do you got?
I have a 401k. Right now, it's mostly traditional. I have 1.2.
1.2 million?
Yes.
Holy smokes. All right. Traditional. Got it. That's amazing. You're so young to have all that money. Good for you.
Thank you. I feel blessed to have that much. I have an old 401k, which is about 29,000. A Roth IRA that is 80,000. An HSA.
All right. I love the HSA.
The HSA is currently at 39,000.
Oh, that's great. And how about money in the bank? Boring stuff.
We have right now it's in CDs. It's about let's call it 180.
Any other non-retirement accounts that are floating around? Could be an investment account, a fund money, like a play account, some crypto in the back of the drawer on a fob, something else?
Yeah, I have some company stock that was gifted years ago. It's probably current value is probably only like 10,000.
Held directly at the company or in a brokerage account?
In a brokerage account.
Okay. But nothing else in that brokerage account, right?
In that one, no. I do have some RSUs that are not vested yet also.
Okay. Let's ignore those for now since they're not vested. What about an education account for your 2-year-old? Anything going on yet?
Yeah, I have we started a 529 and there's about 7,000 in there.
Okay. So this is a lot of money that you guys have accumulated. Are you so for you, are you maxing out your contribution into your traditional 401k?
Yes, I am maxing the 401k contribution, the Roth IRA, as well as the family HSA contribution.
Okay, great. How are you dealing with the 529? Are you just sort of on every so often you put money in, or is there a dedicated amount you're putting in monthly or annually?
At the moment, it's as we receive gifts from family.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love the family, the gifts. And what about your home? Do you own it? Do you rent? Where are you?
Currently, we rent, but we have a previous home that we've converted into a rental.
Oh, tell me about that. Why did you do that? Because you just couldn't live there with a family?
Well, we wanted to live closer to family after after my son was born.
Okay, so tell us about the rental. How much is it worth?
It's worth about $610.
Just about $610. And what kind of mortgage is outstanding?
Just a hair under $300.
What's the interest rate?
3%.
Okay. So how is the cash flow from that? You get good rent on that?
So on paper, we just converted it within the last couple of months. So right now we're breaking even.
Because why? Because you didn't charge enough?
Yeah. Well, we couldn't get takers at the higher rent. So we lowered it just to get somebody in there.
How much is your rent right now for your primary, for your where you guys are living?
$1,500.
Oh, that's cheap. And so you don't want to buy anything? Like, what's the game plan here?
So the game plan is, yes, we do want to buy maybe within a year to year and a half. Our son's getting big, so and our place is small. So yes, that isn't the plan. That's what that 180 in the bank is earmarked for. Would
you sell the other property or not?
No, not at this time.
Mark, how do you feel about that?
It sounds like they got good cash flow. I mean, they're maxing everything out. It doesn't sound like they're being squeezed. And they just started renting this. So I'm okay with giving it some more time and see if they could turn a profit on it.
How much do you think you'd have to spend on a house if you bought within the next 18 months?
Well, that's what's unfortunate about Southern California.
Yeah, right?
Probably for what we will need, we're probably looking around 900.
Let's call it $1 million. I love round numbers.
Okay, $1 million.
So what my concern is, I think you're going to need to sell this rental property because I think you're going to want that equity. Unless this thing starts cash flowing a lot better, maybe you'll know within the year, but I don't want you to be so attached to the idea of I'm keeping this as a rental. Like, it's fine, but it may be that maybe that you say, you know what, let's sell it. Could you be open to that?
I think down the line, it's a conversation I'll have to have with my wife.
Because why does she want to keep it as a rental property?
Well, I think because we're thinking of generational wealth and passing it on to our kid, and who knows? Maybe.
What about the house? What about the $1 million house?
Well, we don't have it yet, so
right. So but if you need to have it, I mean, you have a 2-year-old. You're thinking about generational wealth. Are you guys both first generation?
Well, second generation. Our parents were immigrants.
It's a lot to be thinking about generational wealth at this point. We have other fish to fry. So right now, you make together about 250 grand. You have low expenses in terms of your rent. You know, if you had $1 million house, it wouldn't be, you know, we're talking about a more expensive monthly nut. What do you think that monthly nut will be? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, just playing around with like mortgage calculators,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be somewhere in the range of probably about 4,500.
For just the housing or all in?
Just the housing. Well,
So
I'm sorry, housing and like taxes, property tax.
Okay, and what about if you put in everything else, like everything you spend money on, including help for your kid, daycare or whatever? Like, how much do you think you need to live on in the future? Like, when I say the future, in the near term, it's really 2 years from now. It's not going to be, let's say it's 1,500 now plus, I don't know, 30. Maybe you spend $5 or $6 grand a month right now. Is that fair?
Our monthly spend rate is about 7,500.
All right. So if it's 7,500 now, and then with the additional home, with the primary, we're talking about more like 10 or 11,000, right? And do you think that you're both going to continue working straight through? Like, do you feel like there's going to be another baby? Is there some idea that, one of you will work for a longer or bear that burden, or will you both be, pretty much like working for the next 20 years?
So we would like to have another child, and at that point, my wife has volunteered to stay home for a little while. I think she would like to get back into the workforce, so stay home for a few years, and then maybe working part-time during that time, and then eventually go back full-time.
Is there anything else in your financial life besides this house that's looming? Is there any other goals that you guys have?
No, I think that's our immediate goal, is just to get into a bigger home, and then obviously fund retirement, and then if we can, help with education costs for my son.
Okay, so retirement, but bigger home comes first,
Yes.
like right? So it's bigger home, retirement, college. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys have life insurance?
I have term life insurance. My wife only has her employer provided life insurance.
I'd get some insurance for her.
Okay, yeah, we've been talking
How
about
much
that.
does she have?
Maybe 1.5 times salary.
Yeah, she needs more, because especially if she's going to really be the primary caretaker, if God forbid something happened to her, you'd need help,
Yeah,
right?
mhm.
So we're going to get her some term life insurance before she gets pregnant again. That's important.
Yes.
So then, what about estate documents? Do you have a will? Do you have that stuff done?
It's in the works. We were working with a lawyer, and we're drawing them up.
I get what you're saying, get the equity, but they just started subletting this thing. I mean, I maybe give it till the end of the year, see if they could turn a profit on this thing. Like, how long is the tenant currently signed at the current rate?
1 year.
Well, you tried to get how much in rent?
3,200.
But you're only paying, because it's in a different area.
Yes.
So 3,200. And what was the ultimate? What did you get?
27.
All right. So you got 2,700 a month.
And that's breaking even.
Breaking even when you say that pays for the mortgage, the taxes, and what else?
HOA.
Oh, it's a condo.
Yes.
All right. Wait. So that pays, and that's it. So it's 2,700 is a month is the break even.
Right.
Yeah, but okay, I don't want to be an idiot here, but let's say that it even was $3,000 or $3,500 a month. You have $300,000 in equity. Like, it's hard for me to understand how that is better used sitting in a rental.
Yeah, but I would assume that you're not going to get them to unload this just because what we talked about before.
You're hearing that in the voice that I have to sell it not once but twice, and the person who's really obviously more attached to it is not on the line with us?
Yeah, so I would assume that they're going to keep it for a while. I mean, the good thing is they do have a lot of money saved for a down payment, so that helps. And I was just reading the email; they also have a emergency reserve beyond that.
Okay, what's the emergency reserve that you have?
It's 6 months.
Okay. I mean, but the thing is, just to be clear, if we're going to lose $100,000 of income, Mark, then financing the mortgage, that future mortgage, is going to be kind of hard, right? We're going to have a much higher interest rate, obviously, and we could lose $100,000 of income. So then how should we account for that?
Something's going to have to give. I don't know if they're going to be able to save as much as they're saving.
Yeah, that was my thought, that I'd have to pull back on some of my retirement savings.
I feel like if it's the house comes first and you have the house. We save for that. Once you have the house, you'll have a big fat mortgage interest deduction. You will be able to then switch over. She's going to stop working. She's going to have the baby. She's going to stay home. Now your income tax bracket goes down. Top bracket 22%. Now you're going to be switch from the traditional to the Roth. And then you're going to have to be, I think you're going to have to be open to selling the rental. Just my 2 cents. I feel like it's going to be important because it's going to be hard for you to carry $1 million house with a $700,000 or $750,000, even if rates go down. Like, how much is it going to go down in 18 months? Is it going to be 3% again? I doubt it. It's probably going to be more like 4 or 5%. So, Mark, let me ask you this. What is a $750,000 30-year fixed rate? Let's say rates do come down. Let's put it in at 5%.
That is about $4,000 a month.
So there it is. There's his $4,500. So I think that this is going to be an expensive, and I think it's great to do. But, this may be a situation, by the way, where you do put more down just to be able to float your cash flow because rates are higher. So, we always talked about, don't put as much down, don't pay down your mortgage. But when you're talking about 5 or 6, even 7% interest, then you're starting to really get into this conversation around, well, wait a minute, yielding or producing a portfolio return after taxes of 5% ain't so easy. And so now we have to start thinking about maybe we would be better off using the money to buy down the mortgage, essentially, like put more money down, have a smaller mortgage amount. I don't know. I just feel like we have to be prepared for that, at least, especially given the time horizon. So I think that you're right, Mark. I agree that, I'm willing to just sort of be like, okay, let's see how the rental goes. Because maybe we're wrong. Maybe in 12 months, Art says, hey, you know what? Remember that $2,700 a month? It's now $3,300. And now $3,300 is, you got a little extra money. It's coming in. It's fine. It's still not great in terms of income. I'll tell you why. Because, then even, you have to really look at the real cash flow. It's just not cash flowing that much money for you, right? Because that's like $500 a month is what you're making over and above your expenses. So big deal. It's like $6,000. I think you can do this. I want you guys to be open to the possibility that you might have to sell the house. That's all. If you're open to that, then I feel like I've done my job. You don't have to do it, but at least to be open to it. Other than that, she needs life insurance. You need to get your butts in gear and get the estate documents done.
So should she not use her 403B at this time?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, no. I mean, she's already doing the 401A, and there's no match. There's no incentive to use it. So if there's anything left over, I would just put it into a brokerage account.
Yeah, or build up the house fund. The down payment fund.
Right, that would be our plan. I did have a question about brokerage accounts. Is there a benefit to doing a individual versus a joint brokerage account?
No, not really. I mean, it's a joint asset. You live in California. You're a community property state, so there's no difference. There's no other debt besides this mortgage. No one has an outstanding big loan from college or grad school,
no,
right?
No, paid all those off.
I don't think I would just make it joint because it's easy.
Okay.
What is it now? Where's that company stock in that brokerage account?
It's individual.
It doesn't matter. She probably doesn't want you touching her money. I wouldn't trust you either. I wouldn't trust Art, would you? No, not at all. All right, Art, you're going to let us know how this all plays out and send us pictures of the house once you get it, all right?
For sure, definitely.
All right. If you are looking, boy, there's a lot of competing forces in that situation, right, Mark? Like when it's just hard. That's why it's really good when he started talking through and I said, what's the priority? The house, the retirement, then college. Just think about all that equity. By the way, the other thing you can do with all that equity, once you sell that rental property, you can pop a bunch of money straight up into the 529 plan and really beef that up. So there's so much. I feel like that equity is a little bit wasted. I know, I'm not getting it, but it's just my 2 cents. Mark Talercio is the co-host and executive producer of the show. Karen Kranick is our web queen. We are distributed by Paramount Global, and we drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Try to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you on Thursday.